December 25th, 2004, 9 a.m. Christmas morning in Belfast, while families across Northern Ireland unwrap presents and prepare turkey dinners. Bank officials at Northern Bank headquarters stare at empty vault cages in complete disbelief. The steel doors hang open. The concrete floor is spotless. The shelves are bare. £20.6.5 million. Gone, not a single alarm triggered. Not one security guard injured. Not a trace of forced entry. The most sophisticated bank vault in Northern Ireland, emptied like a child's piggy bank. But here's what makes this different from every other heist in history. The robbery didn't happen on Christmas Day. It happened because of Christmas. The thieves didn't crack the vault. They didn't tunnel underground. They didn't even break in. They walked right through the front door with the bank managers who were helping them. The vault supervisor, Chris Ward, had spent Christmas Eve loading cash into bags under the watchful eyes of armed men. His colleague, Kevin McMullen, had done the same. Both men had families. Both men had been given a simple choice 48 hours earlier: cooperate or watch your family die. Outside the bank, Belfast is celebrating. Inside, investigators are beginning to piece together the most audacious bank robbery in British history. A heist so perfectly timed, so meticulously planned, that it required 18 months of surveillance, inside our knowledge of every security protocol, and the exploitation of the one day when nobody would be watching, the Christmas day. How do you rob a bank without breaking in? How do you steal £26 million without firing a single shot? And how do you vanish into thin air with enough cash to fill an entire room? 18 months earlier, June 2003, the Northern Bank sits in the heart of Belfast's city centre, a fortress of concrete and steel built to withstand everything Northern Ireland could throw at it. After decades of the Troubles, car bombs, riots, political violence, this bank had seen it all. The vault contains the cash reserves for dozens of branches across the region. On any given day, hundreds of millions of pounds sit behind steel doors and armed guards. But someone is watching. Chris Ward, 32 years old, has worked at Northern Bank for 8 years. He's a vault supervisor, a trusted employee with access to the most secure areas. Every day he follows the same routine: arrive at 8 a.m, check security protocols, oversee cash deliveries, go home to his wife Kyron and their young son in their quiet home on Ladies Drive in South Belfast. He's ordinary, reliable, invisible. Kevin McMullen, 24, works the same job on the night shift. He lives in West Belfast with his partner and their baby. He's been with the bank for 3 years. Clean record. No red flags. Just another face in the security system. Neither man knows. They've been selected. The planners will learn their identities, later have spent months studying the bank. They know the shift rotations. They know the security schedules. They know that between Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, the vault will be fuller than any other time of year. Businesses across Northern Ireland deposit their holiday cash. ATMs get restocked. The vault swells with currency. They also know something else. The weakness isn't the steel or the alarms or the cameras. It's the people. You can't crack modern vault security, one investigator would later explain. The technology is too good. But people have families. People have fears. People can be motivated. The surveillance begins in summer 2003. Ward's morning coffee. Shop. McMullen's route home. Their children's schools. Their wives' schedules. Everything is documented, photographed, timed. The planners need to know these men better than they know themselves. By December 2003, the team has everything they need. They know Ward's son goes to St. Malachi's primary school. They know McMullen's partner works as a care assistant. They know both families will be home for Christmas 2004. The plan is elegant in its brutality. Take the families hostage. Force the bank employees to do exactly what they do every day: walk into work, access the vault, handle the cash. Except this time, they'll be loading it into bags for thieves, while their families sit bound and terrified in their own homes, held at gunpoint by strangers who promise violence if anything goes wrong. It's not a robbery, one detective would later say. It's a 48-hour psychological torture operation, disguised as a robbery. The Christmas timing is genius. The bank closes December 24th and doesn't reopen until December 27th. That gives them 72 hours before anyone official even enters the building. 72 hours to move £26 million out of Belfast. 72 hours to disappear. By summer 2004, they've rehearsed every step. They've identified the team members needed: drivers, watchers, gunmen, coordinators. They've sourced the vehicles. They've located safe houses. They've planned escape routes through neighborhoods where nobody asks questions. One challenge remains. They need both bank employees. Ward handles the day shift. McMullen handles nights. The vault requires to people with authorization codes. Take one family hostage, and the other employee might raise the alarm. Take both families, and you control the entire operation. December 2004 approaches. Belfast prepares for Christmas. The banks prepare for the holiday rush. Families shop for presents, plan dinners, decorate trees, and somewhere in Belfast, a team of professional criminals runs through their final checklist. The countdown begins. December 15th, 2004. The surveillance goes into overdrive. Multiple vehicles rotate through Ward's neighborhood. Different faces appear at the coffee shop where he stops each morning. Nothing obvious, nothing alarming, just the faint pressure of being watched without quite knowing it. McMullen notices a van parked near his home on 3 separate nights. He mentions it to his partner. She suggests calling the police. He shrugs it off. It's Belfast. Paranoia is part of the landscape. Vans park on streets. Nothing unusual. But these aren't random vehicles. They're timing his movements, confirming his schedule, making sure he'll be home when they need him. The team has acquired everything they need. Weapons, pistols, at least 4. Stolen vehicles with false plates, rope, tape, tools for restraint. Mobile phones on prepaid cards, untraceable. Changes of clothing, surveillance equipment, and bags. Dozens of heavy-duty bags capable of holding millions in cash. They've identified the route from each house to the bank. Ward's home to Donegal Square. 12 minutes in light traffic, 18 during rush hour. McMullen's home to the bank, 9 minutes. They've driven these routes 20 times. They know every traffic light, every turn, every camera location. The safe houses are ready. 3 locations across Belfast, each selected for privacy and quick access to arterial roads. The plan requires rotating the hostages between locations to prevent anyone from getting comfortable enough to attempt escape or memorize details. December 19th, 6 days before Christmas. A final reconnaissance mission confirms the bank's holiday schedule. The last business day is December 23rd. The vault will be locked at 6 p.m. On the 24th, security will make routine checks through Christmas Day, but reduced staff. Skeleton crew. The building will be quiet. Perfect. The team holds their last meeting. 5 men, possibly 6. The roles are clear. 2 will control Ward's family. 2 will control McMullen's family. 1 coordinator will manage communications and ensure both operations proceed simultaneously. At least 1 driver for each location. December 19th changed everything, 1 investigator would later note. That's when this stopped being a plan and became an operation. 1 problem nearly derails everything. Ward requests vacation time for Christmas week. If he's not working his regular shifts, the entire timeline collapses. The team watches, waiting. 3 days pass. Ward's request is denied. The bank needs senior staff during the busy holiday period. He'll work through the 24th. The criminals exhale. December 22nd, 3 days to go. Final vehicle checks. The stolen cars run perfectly. The false plates are convincing. The weapons are loaded and tested at an abandoned quarry outside Belfast. Everything. Mechanical is ready. Now comes the hardest part. Waiting. The team members separate, staying in different locations across the city. No contact except through coded messages on prepaid phones. They watch the news. They monitor police scanners. They look for any sign that security services are watching them. Nothing. Belfast prepares for Christmas. Police focus on shoplifters and drunk drivers and domestic disputes. Nobody's expecting the biggest heist in Irish history. December 23rd. 1 day before Ward works his shift, unaware that men are watching his house. McMullen sleeps through the afternoon, preparing for his night shift later. Their families shop for last-minute groceries, wrap presents, make plans for Christmas dinner. That evening, the team conducts a final surveillance pass. Both targets are home. Both families are together. Weather forecast for the 24th. Cold, cloudy, no snow. Good driving conditions. Clear roads, everything is ready. December 24th, 2004. Christmas Eve morning. The team wakes early. They dress in dark. Clothing, generic and forgettable. They load the weapons, check the vehicles 1 final time, synchronize their watches. By noon, they're in position around both neighborhoods. Ward leaves for his final shift at 4 p.m. He'll close out the day's business, secure the vault, go home to his family for Christmas Eve dinner. He has no idea he'll be spending the next 2 days as a prisoner in his own home, forced to participate in the robbery of his own bank, or watch his family die. McMullen sleeps through the afternoon, his baby daughter napping beside him. Neither man knows what's coming. Can the thieves really pull this off? Can they control 2 families simultaneously, force bank employees to cooperate, and steal millions without violence? The answer is about to unfold. 6:47 p.m. December 24th, 2004. Chris Ward pulls into his driveway on Ladies Drive. Christmas. Lights twinkle on neighboring houses. He can smell turkey through his car windows. Someone's starting their Christmas Eve dinner early. He grabs his briefcase, exhausted from the day's work. The vault is full. Tomorrow is Christmas. 3 days off. He opens his front door. Don't move. Don't scream. We have your family. 2 men stand in his living room. Both wear dark clothing and gloves. One holds a pistol pointed at Ward's chest. The other grips his wife Chiron by the arm. Their young son sits frozen on the couch. A stranger's hand on his shoulder. Ward's brain short-circuits. This isn't real. This can't be happening. Not on Christmas Eve. Not in his home. Listen carefully, the gunman says. You're going to do exactly what we say. Your colleague McMullen is in the same situation right now. Both your families are safe. If you cooperate, try anything heroic, and everyone dies. Understand? Ward nods, unable to speak. 6:52 p.m. Across Belfast, Kevin McMullen's front door crashes open. He jumps up from the couch, his partner screaming, their baby crying. 3 men pour into the room like water breaking through a dam. Northern Bank. One of them says, "You work there? We need you to help us with something." McMullen's partner clutches their baby. "Please," she begs. "Please don't hurt her. Nobody gets hurt if everyone cooperates." The men separate the family. McMullen and his partner in one room, the baby with one of the gunmen in another. The message is clear. Obey or we hurt what you love most. 7:15 p.m. At Ward's house, the family is bound with rope and tape, not tightly. Enough to cause injury, but secure enough to prevent escape. The gunmen are professional, almost polite. They offer water. They explain that this will be over soon if everyone follows instructions. Tomorrow morning, one tells Ward, "You're going to go to work. Normal routine, but you're going to do something extra. You're going to fill bags with cash from the vault, as much as you can carry. Then you're going to bring it to a location. We'll provide. Do this, and your family walks away fine. Refuse, and we start cutting off your son's fingers. 1 per hour. Are we clear?" Ward is clear. 7:30 p.m. McMullen receives the same instructions. He'll work his night shift tonight, Christmas. Evand tomorrow morning, Christmas Day. He'll help load cash during what's supposed to be his time off. The vault requires 2 authorized employees. That's why both families are hostages. The coordination is flawless. Both families are controlled. Both employees are compliant. The thieves have rehearsed this so many times, they move through the house like choreographed dancers. 8:45 p.m. Christmas Eve night. McMullen is driven to the bank for his regular night shift. One gunman accompanies him, sitting in the back seat with a pistol pressed against McMullen's spine. "Act normal," the gunman says. "You wave to the security guard. You check in. You do your routine. We'll be watching every camera feed. Anything strange, and your family dies." McMullen enters the bank. His hands shake as he swipes his security card. The guard on duty, Dennis, who's worked Christmas Eve shifts for 15 years, waves casually. "Merry Christmas, Kev. Merry Christmas." McMullen manages. His voice cracks slightly. Dennis doesn't notice. 11:30 p.m. McMullen's shift proceeds normally. He processes end-of-day paperwork. He checks security logs. He walks through the vault area, the weight of what's coming tomorrow pressing down on him. Like a physical force. Outside, the gunman waits in the stolen car. He's monitoring McMullen's every move via the bank's own security cameras. The thieves have access codes, somehow. Maybe an insider, maybe hacked. Investigators will never know for sure. At Ward's house, the family remains bound. The son cries softly. The gunman watch television. A Christmas movie plays, grotesquely cheerful. One gunman eats a sandwich from Ward's refrigerator. Get some sleep, he tells the family. Tomorrow's a big day. December 25th, 2004, 12:01 a.m. Christmas Day, midnight passes. Church bells ring across Belfast. Families attend midnight mass. Children dream of presents under trees. At Northern Bank, the vault contains £26.5 million in cash. By tomorrow afternoon, it will contain nothing. 6 a.m., Christmas morning. Ward barely slept. The gunman allowed him to. Hours of restless unconsciousness while they rotated watch. Now they wake him with cold efficiency. Get dressed, look normal. We're going to the bank. His wife and son remain bound in the living room. One gunman stays with them. The other escorts Ward to a car. Remember, the gunman says, we have eyes on your family. We have eyes on McMullen's family. Everyone cooperates. Everyone lives. You try to signal anyone, a security guard, a police officer, anyone, and your son dies. Slowly, while you listen on this phone. He hands Ward a mobile phone. Ward understands. 7:30 a.m. McMullen arrives at the bank with his escort. He meets Ward. In the lobby, both men look pale, exhausted. They make eye contact, a silent acknowledgement of their shared nightmare. The bank is nearly empty on Christmas morning. One security guard making rounds. No other staff. The building is quiet as a church. Perfect conditions for a robbery. 8 o'clock. Ward and McMullen access the vault. Both their authorization codes are required. The massive steel door swings open with a hydraulic hiss. Inside, stacks and stacks of bundled currency. 20s, 50s, hundreds, organized by denomination in steel cages. The gunmen appear with bags, start loading. For the next 3 hours, 2 bank employees fill industrial bags with cash. Their hands move mechanically, bundle after bundle, stack after stack. The bags grow heavy, then heavier, then impossibly heavy. The gunmen work efficiently. They've brought a hand truck. They wheel the bags through the vault, through the bank, out. 2 waiting vehicles in the rear loading bay. 11:15 a.m. The operation hits a snag. One bag tears, spilling cash across the floor. McMullen drops to his knees, frantically scooping up bundles, terrified that this mistake will trigger violence against his family. Relax, one gunman says. Just use another bag. We have time. The man's calmness is somehow more terrifying than rage would be. 11:45 a.m. The vault is nearly empty. 18 months of planning, 72 hours of terror, 3 hours of loading, and now, success. The last bag is filled. The gunmen conduct a final sweep, checking for anything left behind. They find one more cage with approximately £2 million in older notes. Get it, the leader orders. Ward and McMullen comply. Their backs ache. Their hands shake. Their minds are blank with exhaustion and fear. 12:30 p.m. Christmas. Afternoon. The vehicles pull away from Northern Bank. 3 cars, different routes, all heading to separate safe houses across Belfast. The bags are distributed among the vehicles to minimize risk. If one car is stopped, the others continue. At Ward's house, the gunmen release the family. Stay inside until 6 p.m. Don't call the police until then. If you do, we'll know, and we'll come back. At McMullen's house, the same instructions. Both families are freed but terrified into silence. The gunmen disappear into Christmas afternoon. Traffic. Families driving home from church. Kids riding new bicycles. The city celebrates while the biggest heist in British history escapes through its streets. To Callan 00 p.m., Ward sits with his family, unable to process what just happened. His son asks, "Are the bad men gone?" Ward doesn't know how to answer. McMullen holds his baby daughter, tears streaming down his face. Both families wait. 6 p.m. The deadline passes. Ward calls the police. "I need to report a robbery," he says. His voice is hollow. "Northern Bank. They took everything." Within minutes, police cars descend on Donegal Square. Officers enter the bank. They reach the vault. They stare at empty cages in complete disbelief. £26.5 million gone. December 26th, 2004. Boxing Day morning. The headlines scream across every newspaper in Ireland and Britain. Biggest bank heist in UK history. Christmas Day robbery stuns Belfast. £26.5 million vanished. Police Service of Northern Ireland. Headquarters transforms into a command centre. Detectives pull double shifts. The FBI sends advisors. This is too big, too sophisticated for local resources alone. The investigation, codenamed Operation Coercion, becomes the largest criminal inquiry in Northern Ireland's history. Chief Superintendent Alan Mains faces the media. This was a meticulously planned operation that took advantage of the Christmas holiday and exploited to bank employees and their families. The level of sophistication suggests significant criminal organization behind this robbery. What he doesn't say, they have almost no leads. The vehicles used, stolen, then burned in 3 different locations across Belfast. False plates removed. Forensics finds nothing. No fingerprints, no DNA, no fibers that don't belong to the vehicle's original owners. The safe houses, cleaned spotless. Investigators locate 2 of them based on witness reports of suspicious activity, but find empty rooms, bleached floors, and 0 evidence. The families, traumatized beyond their ability to help. Ward and McMullen provide descriptions: white males, Irish accents, medium build, but nothing specific enough for identification. The gunmen wore gloves, constantly. They never used names. They never showed faces clearly. They were ghosts, McMullen tells investigators. Professional ghosts. The vault security footage shows Ward and McMullen loading bags, but the angle never captures their escorts' faces. The gunmen position themselves deliberately in camera blind spots. December 27th, the bank reopens under police guard. Customers are turned away. The vault remains a crime scene. Financial investigators calculate the exact loss, £26.5 million. The breakdown sends shivers through the room. £16.2 million in Northern Bank's own currency. Notes the bank itself issued £9.3 million in Bank of England. Notes £1 million in various other currencies. This detail becomes crucial. Northern Islands. Banks issue their own currency, distinct from Bank of England notes. These Northern Bank notes are traceable. Every serial number is recorded within 48 hours. Northern Bank makes an unprecedented decision. They'll demonetize their entire currency. Every Northern Bank note in circulation, hundreds of millions of pounds, will be recalled and replaced with newly designed notes. Any Northern Bank notes dated before 2005 will become worthless. The thieves stole £16 million that will turn into fancy toilet paper, but they still have £9 million in untraceable Bank of England. Notes, December 30th. Theories explode across media. Organized crime, Russian mafia, international syndicate. The professionalism suggests professionals, but professionals from where? Then Detective Chief Inspector Chris Whittle receives a tip that changes everything. Check the IRA, the informant whispers over a secured line. Check the provisionals. The Irish Republican Army, the paramilitary organization that fought British rule for decades. The group that supposedly decommissioned its weapons in 2005. The organization that claims to have gone legitimate. Investigators don't want to believe. The peace process is fragile. Accusing the IRA of the biggest heist in British history could collapse years of delicate negotiation. But the evidence begins to point in only one direction. January 2005. Police raid homes across Belfast. They arrest 7 people, all with known Republican connections. They seize documents, computers, phones. They find ... nothing. No money, no evidence, no confessions. The suspects are released after 48 hours, but rumors spread through Belfast's tight-knit communities. The robbery was an IRA operation. The money was supposed to fund the organization after decommissioning. The sophistication, the planning, the escape, all hallmarks of IRA operations refined over 30 years of urban guerrilla warfare. They didn't rob a bank, one former security official explains off the record. They executed a military operation disguised as a bank robbery. February 2005. A break. Police searching a sports club in West Belfast discover £50,000 in Northern banknotes hidden in a toilet cistern. The sports club has known IRA connections. The notes are from the robbery, but it's a drop in a £26 million ocean. More breaks follow. £108,000 found during a raid on another property. £30,000 discovered in a police search of waste ground. All Northern banknotes, all traceable to the heist. The problem? The bulk of the money. The Bank of England notes. The launderable cash has vanished completely. Investigators believe it's been moved to the Republic of Ireland, possibly to Europe, possibly being laundered through legitima. Businesses. March 2005. The Police Service of Northern Ireland announces what everyone already suspects. We believe this robbery was carried out by members of the Provisional IRA. The statement detonates political tensions. Sinn Féin, the political wing of the IRA, vehemently denies involvement. This is a politically motivated accusation designed to damage the peace process. says Gary Adams, Sinn Féin president. But the evidence, circumstantial, maddening, but accumulating, suggests otherwise. July 2005. Christopher Ward, the vault supervisor, faces his own investigation. Not criminal charges, but questions. How could he cooperate so completely? Why didn't he try to signal anyone? Was he involved from the beginning? My son, Ward says, breaking down during the interview. They had my son. What would you have done? Investigators. Clear him of wrongdoing. McMullen too. Both men were victims, not conspirators. But both men quit banking. Neither will work in finance again. September 2005. Police make a significant arrest. Chris Ward. Not the bank employee, a different Chris. Ward, a known IRA member. The similarity in names is coincidental but confusing. This Ward is charged with involvement in the robbery. He's eventually released due to insufficient evidence. The pattern becomes clear. Police know who did this. They know the organization behind it. But proving it in court, impossible. The thieves left no forensic evidence, no witnesses outside the traumatized families, no money trail beyond the few £1,000s recovered. The robbery becomes Northern Ireland's perfect crime. December 2005. 1 year later. The final tally of recovered money. Less than £2 million of the £26.5 million stolen. The rest vanished, laundered, spent, hidden in locations investigators will never find. And then comes the twist that makes this story truly unforgettable. In February 2006, investigators announced they believe significant portions of the stolen money ended up funding IRA operations in the months following the robbery, not for terrorism, but for organizing the organization's final decommissioning. The money stolen from a bank to hurt. The peace process was actually used to facilitate. The peace process that the irony is almost too perfect. The trials begin in 2008. 4 years of investigation finally produce enough evidence to charge several individuals. Ted Cunningham, a publican from County Cork, is arrested in 2009 with £4,000 in northern banknotes hidden in his home. He claims he didn't know where the money came from. He's convicted of money laundering and sentenced to 10 years, reduced to 5 on appeal. He serves 3. Don Bullman, a fish trader, is charged with helping launder portions of the stolen cash. He's convicted and sentenced to 3 years. He serves 18 months. Chris Ward, I remember. Not the bank employee, is eventually charged in 2009 with preparing acts of terrorism connected to the robbery. The case collapses due to insufficient evidence. He walks free. Kevin McMullen, the bank employee, testifies. At multiple trials, I still have nightmares, he tells the court. My daughter doesn't remember it. She was just a baby. But I remember. Every Christmas, I remember. Chris Ward, the vault supervisor, never testifies. He disappears from public life entirely, moving his family out of Belfast to an undisclosed location. Both men receive compensation from Northern Bank for their trauma. Both men requested the amounts remain confidential. The investigation officially closes in 2014, years after the robbery, with less than 10% of the stolen money recovered. Where did the rest go? Investigators believe approximately £20 million was successfully laundered through legitimate businesses across Ireland and Europe. Property purchases, shell companies, cross-border transfers through uncooperative jurisdictions. It's gone, one detective admits off the record. That money is clean now. It's an investment, real estate, maybe sitting in bank accounts under different names. We'll never touch it. The IRA connection remains circumstantial but overwhelming. Multiple sources within the organization confirmed the robbery was an internal operation designed to create a financial cushion before decommissioning. The sophistication, the planning, the clean execution, the escape. Everything matches IRA operational patterns developed over 30 years of conflict. But here's the twist that transforms this from a crime story into something more complex. In 2005, the IRA did decommission. After the robbery, after months of pressure, the organization officially ended its armed campaign. Weapons were destroyed. Under international oversight, the troubles ended. Investigators believe portions of the stolen money funded this transition. Payments to members giving up armed resistance, funding for families of imprisoned operatives, financial stability during the vulnerable period when violence ended but legitimate funding hadn't materialized. The robbery meant to destroy the peace process may have actually secured it. The irony isn't lost on Chris Ward, the bank employee. In a rare 2015 interview, his only public statement, he reflects on that. Christmas night in 2004, they took everything from us that night, he says. Our safety, our peace, our Christmas. But in a way they didn't understand. Maybe they gave something too. The troubles ended. The violence stopped. Not because of the robbery, but connected to it somehow. I don't forgive them. I can't. But I understand we're part of something bigger than a bank heist. Kevin McMullen never speaks publicly about the robbery, but neighbors report that every Christmas he takes his family, his daughter now grown, his partner still beside him to midnight mass. They pray for peace. They light candles. They remember the Christmas when everything changed. Northern Bank no longer exists. It was acquired by Danske Bank in 2005, partially due to the financial impact of the robbery. The building on Donegal Square still stands, but the vault has been completely redesigned. No single employee has the access Ward and McMullen wants. Held, the money, still missing, still clean, still somewhere. In 2019, a package arrived at police service of Northern Ireland headquarters. Inside, £50,000 in Bank of England notes and a typed note reading, "For charity, no names, no questions. Consider it a Christmas gift." The bills couldn't be traced. The note couldn't be analysed, but the amount £50,000 was suspiciously specific. The money was donated to a children's hospital in Belfast. Every Christmas since 2004, anonymous donations totaling hundreds of thousands of pounds have appeared at charities across Northern Ireland. Always unmarked, always untraceable, always in amounts too small to trigger serious investigation, but large enough to help. The donations always arrive on December 25th. Nobody claims credit. Nobody asks questions. The Northern Bank robbery remains the largest cash heist in British history. It remains unsolved in the sense that most perpetrators were never prosecuted. It remains a ghost story whispered in Belfast pubs the night when ghosts walked into a bank and walked out with millions. But perhaps the real story isn't about the money or the thieves or even the crime. It's about the two families who survived Christmas. 2004. It's about a city that survived decades of violence and moved forward despite being robbed of millions. It's about how even the worst crimes can produce unexpected outcomes. On Christmas Day 2004, someone stole Christmas from Chris Ward and Kevin McMullen, and in return gave Northern Ireland an uncertain gift: peace process funded by crime, a future built on stolen money, a season of goodwill financed by violence. The greatest heist in British history wasn't really about the money. It was about buying time, for peace, for change, for a different kind of Christmas. The thieves took £26 million. They left something more valuable behind. Claude is AI and can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.